This trip has been so hard because majority of my time, this is what I do. I just hold her, wear her, because everybody's busy doing their own thing. I hate that I am allowing my surroundings to affect me in a way that I feel like I can't push through my obstacles. Today is my lock anniversary. And sometimes even talking about my locks, sometimes it feels a little superficial, even though y'all know that the reason I started my locks was to grow with my son, who is a big boy right now, bro. He's such a big boy. My hair reflects his growth and his journey as well. Like, it's been 6 years, bro. 6 years since I've been a mom. And in the 6 years that I've been a mom, I really do want to reflect on a little bit of it. So the questions that I have for the Vulnerable Mom interview, I'm going to just like share some of the questions for myself and ask those questions to myself. Can you share your motherhood journey so far and how it has shaped who you are today? So, a bit about my motherhood journey. I've been a mom for 6 years. I have 3 kids. So, they're fairly little, but I do feel like having my kids at this age definitely changed and shaped who I am today, because back in the day, I've shared before that I've always wanted to be a mom, and I've always tried to get pregnant back when I was like a teenager, like 17, 18, 19, all like the beginning of my 20s. And I'm just grateful that God didn't give me the weight or the mission to become a mom at that time when I thought I wanted it to happen, because I know that the mom that I would have been then isn't the mom that I am now. And I feel like having become a mom in my 30s definitely shaped who I am today, because I was able to see all the things that I didn't want for my life. So I know that if I would have gotten pregnant in my 20s, and like I said, everybody's journey is different. What people decide to do with their children is their own business, their own choice. But for me, being able to see a different way of parenting, for me to be able to see a different way of birth and breastfeeding and all of these different things, I don't think that I would have done any of those things then had I become a mom in my 20s. So becoming a mom in my 30s allowed me to have 3 home births. It allowed me to breastfeed for as long as I did. It allowed me to practice positive discipline and to understand that my children have their own thoughts, feelings, and ideas, and I can nurture that, and I can continue to pour into them in a way that I didn't feel like I was getting poured into. And it definitely allowed me to become a better person, because all of the things that I felt nervous to do growing up, or even nervous to do with peers, I am able to do that with my children. I am able to speak to them with empathy. I am able to be more patient with them, even though sometimes I feel like I don't have the patience with myself. Sometimes when I feel like I can't necessarily stand up for myself in a peer-to-peer situation, I know that I'm able to give my kids the tools to be able to stand up for themselves. Whenever they feel that someone's not being kind to them, I know that they are able to do that. And stand up for themselves. So I feel like my motherhood journey definitely has shaped me to be able to show up for my children in a way that I know that I didn't have the tools to do back then. What has been your biggest challenge as a mom, and how have you navigated it? My biggest challenge as a mom, my biggest challenge as a mom is having support. My biggest challenge as a mom is having support. And I don't want to sugarcoat around that, because in the beginning of my journey, I thought that the support that I was going to get would have looked differently than what it really was. So growing up in Florida, or having my children grow up in Florida with having no family support, it was definitely challenging, because oftentimes I was a stay-at-home mom. Like, I was doing everything by myself with the kids. Granted, my husband was there, and I don't ever want to say that he wasn't supportive, because he's been my biggest support. My husband has literally been my biggest support. Whenever I've needed him, whenever I even needed any kind of help, he's always been there. But knowing that we didn't have much support around us, we basically navigated everything through by ourselves. So I don't even want to say that I was even able to give him much support, because I've just been so focused on myself and what I didn't have. But I did know that my husband was there. But my biggest challenge is the lack of support. I've really done everything by myself, when in reality, you didn't have to. You could have created your own community. You could have went out there and have other women around you to create that support, because there's probably other women out there that need the support. So we could have been the support for each other. So I spent a lot of the beginning of my motherhood journey yearning for support from other areas, when in reality, I could have created that support, but I didn't know how to. So I spent a lot of time struggling with doing a lot of things by myself when I didn't know how to ask for help. My biggest challenge as a mom that I still continue to face today is asking for help. And how have I navigated it is just by sharing this and letting people know that it's not easy out there. And I also noticed that growing my social media platform, there's a lot of people that look to me as inspiration to becoming a mom. But I also want to let those young girls know that when, and I probably going too far into it, is like, don't think that motherhood is all shits and giggles and it's all fun. And granted, it is a fun journey, but it's not easy. And we can't just be having kids just to be having kids, because those kids grow up to be adults that have all these issues that they think about, like, I wish I had this or I wish I had that. So before you bring a child into this world, you want to make sure you kind of know yourself a little bit. So how I navigate my biggest challenge, I'm still trying to navigate it, to be honest. I'm really still trying to navigate it. And it's making me open my eyes to see, like, do I really want to bring my kids back home? Do I want to continue to nurture being in Florida? Like, I don't know where I should be going. And I feel like sometimes I really need to take some silent moments to try to figure that out, instead of just like on the groove. Like, I'm not taking as much time as I used to sit with myself, to sit with prayer, to just like ask God to continue to guide me. Like, there's just a lot that I'm still trying to navigate. What do you want other moms to know about your experience? I want other moms to know that your journey is never going to look like the other person's. I don't ever want moms to feel that your experience is a failure, whether you've had like big challenges or like extreme lows. I don't ever want you to look at it as a failure, and I want you to look at it as just a part of your story. Every part of your experience is a chapter in your book, and it's very important to not dwell on anything negative, or even just dwell on things that are positive, because everything in life, everything in your journey, everything in your experience comes in waves. So you never just want to sit at the top, because even when you're at the top, sometimes you're gonna go low. You're gonna go low. And even when you go low and you feel like you're at your lowest, there's going to be a moment where you're going to be climbing. So I want mothers to know about their experience, that it's always going to be changing, and you can never just feel like this is it. There's always a moment to continue to grow. There's always a moment to realize that we can all pivot. We can all pivot, and everything is temporary. What role has self-care played in your journey, and how do you make space for yourself? I think self-care is very important in my journey, because I always preach that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of our children. And it definitely showed a lot, like in the beginning when I first became a mom, when self-care wasn't really present, and I used to become very overstimulated and very just like, I want to say, like, I didn't really know if I was experiencing like postpartum depression or postpartum blues, or just trying to figure out what exactly it was. I just knew that in the beginning it was hard because I was home all the time with my son. And it wasn't until I had my daughter that I was able to express to my husband that, like, I don't have anything for me. I don't have anything for self-care that has anything to do with like filling myself up. And it wasn't until then, I think that was like back in 2021, that I was able to actually do things for myself, where that was like trying new hobbies or getting up before my kids to be able to like pour into myself. And I realized that after doing that, I was able to become a better mom because I was pouring into myself. So how do I make space for myself? That really looks like, you see like me sitting here having that moment to self-reflect and to talk. Making space for myself looks like journaling. It looks like listening to my audiobook that helps me to become better. Just taking deep breaths and just like asking for space when I need it. So making space for myself definitely comes in different waves, because sometimes I can feel overstimulated, but I do know that I have the tools to get myself back to regulation. If I'm feeling like overwhelmed, I know that I am able to just like, you know what, speaking that out loud and letting people know that, you know what, I need to take a break right now. And just not feeling that I have to do everything by myself. I don't have to do everything by myself, because you have to have the courage to be able to speak up and say that, you know what, Tasha, ask for help. And I'm still trying to navigate that. So making space for myself, my husband has been there to say, okay, I need to go to the gym. Can you watch the kids for a second? Or I'm about to go get acupuncture. I'm about to go get a massage. And I try to plan out my months to make sure that I'm taking time for myself in a way that's fueling me and my progress to become better. I don't want to just sit and sulk about like, okay, I can't do nothing. Yes, you can. Even if you want to walk around the block with your children, that is still taking space for yourself because you're moving your body. Self-care definitely plays a big role in my journey because I never want to feel like I'm not taking care of myself, because it definitely shows in if I have to yell at my kids or if I have to like discipline them in a way that doesn't feel good to my soul. And that's just basically being short tempered or just like yelling, like I said. And I know that I need to focus more on self-care when I'm getting a little bit more irritated with my children. So how do you navigate balancing your own identity while being a mom? This is very hard because my own identity, I feel like a lot of my identity has to do with motherhood. And I feel like I am in a point in my life where I'm really passionate about motherhood, that my identity is being a mom. Like you see me going out and I have my children with me, or I have something to do with motherhood. Like I'm talking about a vulnerable mom. This is my brand. This is my baby, my business that I want to grow. It's all about motherhood. So navigating my own identity outside being a mom is very hard to understand right now, because right now I am really in the trenches of motherhood and I really want to continue to grow and evolve as a mom. So my identity, yes, I am a woman, but who is this woman? I'm just trying to nurture my inner child while also being the best mom that I can. So I really don't know how to answer this question on how I navigate balancing my own identity, because I'm still trying to figure out the things that I like and figure out who I am in the process, because everything is still all about motherhood, especially since I just became a mom to 5 months ago. Like I still have a little infant that's needed me, who's sleeping right now. I just left her up there. I don't know if she's awake, but I'm trying to answer these questions as fast as I can before she wakes up. Navigating my own identity is, I guess, I don't know. I know who I am outside of being a mom, right? I'm authentic. I'm inspiring. I know that I'm courageous and I'm saying these things, but I don't even know if this is true. I know I am. I know I am. But sometimes I need that reminder a little bit more. And I think going into these next 4 years, I keep saying that these next 4 years are personal because I'm on my journey to becoming 40. So my birthday is actually, wow, that's crazy. Now that I'm talking about it, now it's just hitting me that my birthday is in 8 days. I'm going to be 37. And I said these next 4 years are going to be personal because I have to now step into this full version of myself to say, like, I can't continue to play small. I can't continue to say that I don't know better. I can't continue to say that I am not getting anywhere when I know that I haven't really put forth the effort to get to where I know that I have the potential. So these next 4 years are personal. So I feel like in these next 4 years, so I'm not even making really like a New Year's resolution. This journey to 40, I am in the process. It's 11:11. I am in the process of creating my new identity and figure out exactly what I want this rest of my life to look like. I don't ever want to leave this world to know that I left a lot of myself unfinished. I don't want to have any unfinished business. I want to continue to be the best that I can be in every aspect of my life, whether that's as an individual, as a wife, as a mom, as a friend. I want to continue to pour into all of those aspects of my life and be the best I can be, like I said, across the board. And right now, I'm still trying to balance my own identity throughout all of that. So to even answer the question on how I'm doing that, I'm still trying to figure it out. What support systems or resources have been most helpful to me? So my support system and my resources that have been the most helpful is my Instagram. Really and truly, the supporters that I have on Instagram, whenever I vulnerably share myself, the feedback that I get from people that are inspired by me sharing myself, that's definitely a great support system because it continues to encourage me to share my story. The people that support me on Patreon, to know that you guys are watching my story and you support me even through my lowest moments, even through my highest moments, even when I don't have everything figured out, to know that people still support me, that's definitely a great like support for me. Resources like Facebook groups that I've been a part of, even Black Moms Miami, even though I'm not that engaged in it, knowing that there's people around there that's willing to support definitely has been helpful. The school that my son is in, that has been a great community so far since I've been a part of it. Like they have definitely helped me to help nurture my son, and just being there have definitely been like a support. And I think just getting outside often has been the greatest support, because oftentimes I realize that when I get overstimulated or when I get overwhelmed or when I feel like discouraged, it's because I'm in my space all the time and I'm sitting with my own thoughts to the point where I don't feel like I can get out of it. But as soon as I step outside and as soon as I get to connect with other people, I realize how connected we are. And I have to remind myself often to just get up and go outside. When you go outside, you're able to see other people that are just like you. So the support and resources that have been the most helpful is reminding myself to go outside, reminding myself to connect with others, reminding myself to share my story, because as soon as I share my story, there's other people that receive my story to show that we're not alone. How has my cultural background or heritage influenced my approach to motherhood? I feel like my cultural background definitely changed the way that I parent, because the way that I grew up and the way that I experience, I guess, being parented is not the way at all with how I parent my children. And I feel like my cultural background had me change a lot of who I am into being more patient, more, I guess, considerate, more encouraging. Like I feel like I pour more into my children. I'm able to allow them to have more of a voice. I'm able to have them to express themselves and to set their own boundaries with me if even they need to. And I'm able to listen to them more. And I feel like my cultural background and how I was raised, I don't think I was heard enough. I felt like I was doing a lot by myself. And I felt like I had to figure out so much by myself. But like now, my approach to motherhood, I'm able to work with them and I allow my children to make mistakes and not feel like they're they're a burden. I allow them to have the freedom to explore, the freedom to ask questions, the freedom to, like I said, have those boundaries. So if they don't feel comfortable with something, they're allowed to say that. And being back home, I do still feel like there's still a balance that they might need as well. Like when it comes to coming here and being home, we are like being home, we are a set of people that's so full with manners. Like you can walk around and there's nobody that you can walk around and not say good morning to or good afternoon to or good night to. We're so respectful in a sense where we always have these manners. And I feel like I haven't really taken that with them when they are in Florida, because in Florida, they don't really have people that they have to say like good morning, good afternoon to, even though they do it. But I feel like here and our cultural background here, it's definitely ingrained a lot more. And that's why it also makes me feel like I want to bring my kids home a little bit more so they can have more of that like culture in them, because I don't necessarily have so much culture in myself. I kind of want to get that back for me and also give that back to my children. What's one thing you've learned about yourself through motherhood? I think one thing I learned about myself through motherhood is that I'm very strong, because when I think about like motherhood and like my birthing experience and knowing that I'm able to like breastfeed for as long as I've had and just like be so patient with my children, like one thing I've learned about myself is that I am capable. I am capable of learning. I'm capable of taking accountability whenever I'm making any kind of mistakes. One thing I learned about myself through motherhood is that nobody can't really influence me to do something that I don't want to do. So when I had my children, when someone tried to tell me that I need to give them formula ahead of time or feed them sooner or put water in the bottle or circumcise my son or call ambulance when I know that I can have a baby at home, like one thing I learned about myself through motherhood is that nobody can't really influence me to do something that I don't want to do. And I love that for myself. And I love that for my journey, that I am really very headstrong in my decisions. And sometimes I also do wish that I am able to take criticism in a way that's helpful and that I am able to change my mind. I can change my mind. I don't have to be headstrong on my decision, and I can be open to different perspectives. If I could tell my younger self one piece of advice about motherhood, what would it be? If I could have tell my younger self, at this point, it don't really matter, because my younger self really wanted to be a mom. And I'm just glad, like I said, that it didn't happen then, that now I am really in a better space to be able to take care of my children. But if I could have tell my younger self one thing about motherhood is that it really doesn't ever end. Your legacy is more about providing tangible experiences as well as support for your children, because when I'm long and gone, I want to make sure that my children are set up in a way that they can say, I was able to pass something on for them. I know financially, I've always complained that I I don't have nothing to give to them. And I can't just say that, oh, I can give my children love, because if I were to leave this earth, I feel like I didn't really prepare them, or I don't really have anything set up for them. So if I could tell my younger self something, to literally really prepare for your children's future before you even have these children. And I feel like I just really want to be a mom so bad that I realize that now having these children, it's like, yeah, they're their own person, they're their own human, they're their own like individuals, and I don't ever want to leave without giving them something. So like I said, these next 4 years are personal because I'm really dedicated on creating some kind of legacy for my children so that they can have something for them and not just videos. So I really hope that this conversation and me sharing these answers to my question, I'm able to inspire other people to continue to share their story. And I can see my baby girl right now coming back here. What's also so crazy, it's 11:21. My children didn't even eat breakfast. They haven't even eaten breakfast. Like, I just feel like I'm really struggling with support. I'm really struggling with asking for help, because why is it 11:21 and I haven't really fed my children? It's really hard. And sometimes when I see how caring my children are, I know that I'm still doing a great job. You got me a flower? Come here.
I am a unicorn.
You're a unicorn? You have a lot of makeup on your face?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You have so much on your face.
No, I am a real unicorn.
You're a real unicorn?
Yeah. I'm a talking unicorn.
You're a talking unicorn?
Yeah.
How many horns do you have?
One.
You have to have one horn to be a unicorn.
I wanna go
Unicorn
unicorn.
horse.